for this evening. I'm not going to talk very long because you're probably more interested to hear what our leader has to say. But in an introduction, before we bring her out here, not only is she the Premier of Alberta, the leader of Alberta's NDP, she has been the strongest, fiercest advocate and the reason that the Trans Mountain Pipeline is going ahead and opening up new markets for Alberta. So without further ado, please help me in welcoming our leader, Premier of Alberta, Rachel Notley.
Tonight. It is lovely to see so many of you out here tonight. Just wonderful. You know, before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the signatories of Treaty 7. And I would also like to acknowledge the Métis people of Alberta, who share a very, very deep connection with this land. So, my friends, who wants to win an election? And who here wants to see Irfan Sabir re-elected? That's exactly what I like to hear. You know, as I look around this room, this gargantuan room with all these beautiful faces, I'm reminded again about how far our party has come. Now, of course, this just didn't all happen by magic. Generations of Alberta New Democrats fought hard to make it happen. Against sometimes impossible odds, they never lost faith and they never wavered. And we owe those New Democrats a huge debt of gratitude. And I see a few of them in the crowd tonight, let me say. But I want to say that though we all stand on the shoulders of giants, the reason our party has earned the trust of Albertans and has been able to carry out the most progressive agenda anywhere in the country is because of people like my friend and my colleague and your MLA, Irfan Sabir. Is Irfan the best dressed MLA in the legislature? Some refer to him as the MLA for Harry Rosen. He actually also represents what is best about our province. Irfan's story is embedded in Alberta's history, and it's embedded in the Alberta story. It's the story told over and over again by countless immigrants to Alberta. People from all over the world and from all walks of life who came here to build a life and to help build a province. This is the Alberta we know, the Alberta that we call home, the Alberta that we love, because of the energy and the talent and the commitment of people like Irfan. And let me say that our government wouldn't be the government it is without Irfan at the table. Underneath Irfan's quiet temperament is a fierce and passionate advocate for his constituents here in Calgary McCall and for the people who he speaks for in the legislature and around the cabinet table. Irfan cares about people. He cares deeply about fairness. And he cares about giving a voice to those who often don't have one. He's in politics truly to help make life better for people. And I see that every day in the work that he does. And when Irfan speaks, let me tell you, people listen. In the toughest days of the oil price collapse, Irfan always spoke up for those who needed our help the most. For those the Conservatives were happy to turn their backs on. And every step of the way, Irfan has been a powerful voice for inclusivity and for diversity, and a powerful voice for helping make life more affordable for families. Because of Irfan's work, almost 200,000 families became eligible for new financial supports that help them afford their basics. A raincoat, rubber boots, soccer cleats. Irfan was also a driving force behind our efforts to help more families get affordable childcare, launching a $25 per day childcare program that saves families money. He's also been a strong voice in support of cutting the school fees that families pay, building the new cancer center here in Calgary, and making sure that Green Loan gets built. Irfan has been a major supporter of doing more to respect human rights. From working with people and communities to combat racism, to changing laws to better respect the importance of faith in people's lives, like, for instance, the recent law around Sikh motorcyclists. And of course, Irfan has been a strong voice at the cabinet table for creating more good jobs for Albertans. Last year we helped create 90,000 new full-time jobs in Alberta, and that work continues. In fact, last month alone, we created 3,000 new jobs, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep creating new jobs. As far as we care in our government, the fact of the matter is this, is even though the recovery is starting to develop, even though the economy is starting to turn, this time in this province, it will not be a recovery until that confidence and that optimism and that economic security is felt around each and every kitchen table in this province. Because in our party, an economic recovery that is not felt by all families is a no economic recovery at all. So I've come here today to say that I need you. I need you, all of you here, to help make sure that Irfan Sabir is re-elected. I need you to raise money. I need you to knock on doors. I need you to talk to your friends and your neighbors and your teammates and all the folks that you run into every day. Do everything that you can to help send Irfan back to Edmonton, because I need him and we need him and Alberta needs him on our team. And I know I can count on all of you to make that happen. Because, there's just a couple of points I want to make. My friends, the stakes, they really couldn't be higher as we go closer and closer to an election. And the choice in the next election could not be more clear between our vision for the future of the province of Alberta and that of Jason Kenney and the UCP. On the big issues that are facing our province today, it is night and day. For instance, on education, we can build our province by investing in our children's futures with good schools, affordable tuition, and money directed to the classroom. Or we can sacrifice the future of our children, lay off the 3,500 teachers and teachers' assistants our government have hired in the last 3 years in order to pay for a tax cut to the top 1% of Albertans. No. On healthcare, we can make sure that our loved ones who are sick get the good care that they need in a hospital when they need it. Or we can slash funding, fire nurses, and privatize care and create 2 wait lists. One for the rich and one for the rest of us. On spending, we can spend tax dollars where they are needed and where they serve people and they serve the citizens of the province, or we can go back to the days of lavish spending on sky palaces taxpayer-funded golf club memberships, and inflated salaries for government CEOs. On the environment, we can move forward, combating climate change, or we can turn back the clock on clean air, clean water, and the billions of dollars in new investments in renewable energy. On the pipeline, you might have heard something about that recently. We can continue making the progress that we have been on the pipeline, and we can open up new markets and get the job done on the pipeline. Or we can go back to the days of pipeline failure and frustration. On the economy, we can either build a more diverse, more stable economy that works for everybody, build on the work of the jobs that we have created, making sure that everyone enjoys and shares in the prosperity that Alberta has to offer to all its citizens, or we can get back on the conservative economic roller coaster that hurt so many people and made sure just only the most wealthy of us benefited. Above all, my friends, above all, we can either move forward with an optimistic, hopeful, and above all, inclusive vision that puts people and each and every citizen of this province first, or we can turn back the clock with a mean-spirited agenda that focuses on dividing rather than uniting. My friends, those are the stakes, and that is the choice in the next election. An Alberta that works for everyone, or an Alberta that works for the few. You know where I stand, I'm pretty sure. You know where Irfan stands, I'm definitely sure. And I am more confident than ever that if we take our hopeful message to every community, to every doorstep, in every corner of the province, we will win here in Calgary McCall and across Alberta. So, to all of you, let's get Irfan nominated, let's get Irfan re-elected, and let's get out there and win this whole election for this government and for the people of Alberta going forward. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, what incredible, passionate, inspiring words from our leader, Rachel Notley. Now, this is a nomination meeting, and I'm very proud in a moment to bring out my good friend. Now, Irfan Sabir has been working his tail off for the last 3.5 years, knocking on doors, raising money, engaging with community members. And as the Premier mentioned, he is a heck of a voice at the cabinet table and a very good friend of mine, and is with great pride for me to bring up Irfan and to announce Irfan Sabir is the next New Democrat candidate in Calgary McCall.
Thank you so much, Premier. Thank you, Darren, and thank you for everything you have done to help our economy recover, to create good jobs, and to ensure that Alberta remains the best place to raise family, invest, and do business in. I would also like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered here on traditional lands of Treaty 7 First Nations, and this land is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. I think Premier spoke at length, and you will expect that my remarks will be brief, but you can see they are not. They're not brief. I just stated the fact. So 3 years ago, history was made when NDP one government in Alberta under the leadership of Premier Rachel Notley. And next year, we are looking to make history again because conservative parties, conservative ideology, their divisive politics belongs in the books of history, not in parliaments. As I'm going to reapply for the job as your MLA, I must say that it has been an honor and privilege to represent you, and I will continue to represent you with hard work, commitment, and to the absolute best of my abilities. As many of you know, I came here in 2004 and started afresh. But I must say that I had every opportunity from job, from education, from sports, community sports, government support, to be successful. So my goal is that whoever is coming to Canada with their dreams, they have that opportunity to be successful whatever they want to achieve. Without going into too much detail, I can say that through my education and social work in particular, and through my work with Salvation Army and Aboriginal law practice later on, and through my interactions with the communities, I learned that there are many who were not represented by their government. They were asked to wait until the market trickles down prosperity onto them. And there were many issues that were completely ignored by the previous government. And that was the motive that I decided to run. And I can tell you that my time here and much of my life previously, I have been standing up for progressive values and for a better and just society. Be it student politics, labor movement politics in Kashmir, or my participation in politics here, participation with the work of Calgary Legal Guidance, Calgary Red Cross, or my law practice, which was focused on Aboriginal land plans, Indian residential school. I believe in just an inclusive society that looks out for everyone. If I talk about my Northeast communities, we know that there was a general lack of services, including even schools, and many from our communities were traveling long distance to Southeast and Northwest, including my own niece and nephews who used to go to Southeast for schools. For too long, our community was left behind by the previous conservative government. And I ran because I believed that there are better ways of doing things. I wanted to be represented by my government, and I wanted to stand up for people of Calgary McCall and those who are left out. And with your support, I was successful. And I'm confident that with your continued support, we can and we will win in 2019 as well.